Hello, how's everyone doing? Good to see you all. Is everyone having a good weekend so far? What we got going on? Amy, well done. First in the comments, and very valid point right at the beginning of the show. Hit that like button. Love it. Steve Harris, how you doing, mate? Good to see you, Steve-O. Let's have a quick look. I'm really looking forward to tonight's show. I've got a brand new band that's that have been in the making for a while now, and just started releasing some of their new material. Me and Phil, the vocalist and keys player and guitarist, we go back a bit, and we've done many shows together in the past. It's awesome to see him playing again and hearing him team up with Tyler. It's sounding absolutely incredible. These guys are wizards because they've worked out how to perform together in 2 locations. In fact, Tyler's in Italy. My understanding is he's in Italy at the moment, and Phil, I'm assuming he's still in Goole or Hull. Not actually sure. We'll soon find out. What's going on in the comments then? Hi, Amy, how you doing? Gary, how you doing? Who else is in comments? Michael, good to see you, mate. Dean, mate. This is going to be a blast from the past. Michael, how you doing? All the Michaels are in. Love it. Steve, you are very pixelated, but sound good though. Oh, that's a shame. It happens. I don't know why it keeps happening. I'm going to probably have to call my internet provider. I don't know. Hopefully it'll improve. As long as the internet is... as long as the audio's okay. Pretty sure Phil's in Italy too. Oh, well, there you go. First I've heard. You'd have thought I'd have asked him that when we first started. I had no idea. We'll soon find out. So, as you know, I've been writing and recording as well, which is cool. And I've finally sent off one of my songs to be mixed and mastered, so it should be coming out very soon. Pretty sure Phil's saying his internet's blocked or failed. I will learn how to use this loop pedal one day. Ooh. my soul ain't working right. Cause I don't wanna know anybody and I wanna stay inside. That's not who I am now, that's not what I want. Lately I've been thinking I want so much more. And so keep things simple, smile and be grateful, and know that everything's gonna be alright. If this ain't living, then I don't know what is. Just know that everything's gonna be just fine. And why do eyes don't wanna be divided by who we used to be? And I know my body and my soul ain't working right. Cause I don't wanna know anybody and I wanna close my eyes. That's not who I am now, that's not what I want. Lately I've been thinking I want so much more. And so it is. And keep things simple, smile and be grateful, and know that everything's gonna be alright. If this ain't living, then I don't know what is. Just know that everything's gonna be just fine. And why do eyes don't wanna be divided by who we used to be? Who we used to be, who we used to be. My soul ain't working right. Cause I don't wanna know anybody and I wanna stay inside. That's not who I am now, that's not what I want. Lately I've been thinking I want so much more. And so it is. And keep things simple, smile and be grateful, and know that everything's gonna be alright. If this ain't living, then I don't know what is. Just know that everything's gonna be just fine. And why do eyes don't wanna be divided by who we used to be? Who we used to be. I have no idea how to use that loop pedal, and it's so strange because I'll be honest, I had a little quick rehearsal before we went live and it was absolutely fine. And then as soon as we went live, it was like, mine went completely blank. Anyway, we got through it. That's all that matters. As I say, I am well looking forward to tonight's show. We've got Phil and Tyler from a very new band that they've been working on. Hey, Dale. Thank you very much. That's really kind of you. I appreciate that. If you're new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And as I say, I am eking my way there. But it's all good. Right, let's jump right into the show. If Tyler and Phil are ready. I think they're ready. Hey, people are subscribing, guys. Oh, hey.
Hello.
Yo, how's it going, guys? Right, well, this is a little bit technical now, guys. Come on, there's two of you on the show. It's usually just the one person, but you guys have got pulling out all the stops.
Mixing it up a bit for you.
Yeah, man. It's been a nightmare.
Honestly,
it's not fun at all.
During soundcheck, I was well, you've pulled it off. Soundcheck sounded incredible, so I'm really looking forward to hearing what you're going to do tonight.
We'll keep the fingers crossed it still sounds good, yeah.
I'm sure it will. So how are things in general? How are you both doing? Phil, where are you, by the way?
I'm actually I live in between York and Selby in a place called Budworth, about 15 minutes from York. That's where I am now. I was in Italy So
Right.
whoever mentioned that they thought I was there, but as I previously explained to yourself, I nearly got stuck there, but fortunately I managed to get back.
You nearly ended up living with me, Phil.
As long as you're home safe and whatnot, that's all that matters.
Aye.
And how about yourself, Tyler? You're in Italy at the moment.
Yeah, mate. I'm just outside of Florence, about 30 kilometres, no, not even that, maybe 10 kilometres away from Florence, like in the mountains. So that's why there's a hell of a lag on my microphone. I apologise for that. You know, I have
That's all
dial-up
good.
internet here. I apologise.
It's fine, man. Well, it's funny we were talking about the good old MySpace days. Why not bring back dial-up?
You know, at least it's stable. You know what I mean? It might. Well,
Yeah.
I know it wasn't even stable. I'm lying.
So how did this project come about then? Obviously, so do you permanently live in Italy?
I'm backwards and forwards, but mostly, yeah.
So
Yeah.
have you guys known each other from previous projects, from other things? What's happening? Like, how's this happened?
We used to be next door neighbours. My mum used to live
Yeah.
next door to Tyler's mum.
Right, got you.
And
Tell him how
when
we
we were
met,
both-
Phil. Tell him how we met.
well, is this back when
Can
you
you even
wanted a
remember?
cheeseburger and had no money on train?
No, that was a different. It was on the train, but it wasn't the cheese. The cheeseburger thing was the day after.
Oh, it's because I had a terrible haircut. I used to have
If you say
I
long
used to have
hair,
like a cross between a Paul Weller and a Brian Molko haircut, and it was absolutely
I
awful.
thought it was really cool.
And-
I thought it was really
And
cool.
Tyler really liked it, and it was kind of growing out, so I had a bit of a mullet going on, and he just come up to me and just said, "Your hair looks mint." that's basically how
on
we
a
met.
train. This was on a train. He went to me. Oh, you've got a guitar on your back. I was like, yeah. It's just a crappy Ibanez. Like, he was like, oh, you want to come back to my house and jam? I'd known the guy like 10 minutes. He could have.
Yeah.
You know. And then literally 2 days later, all right, I need a bass player. Will you play bass in my band?
that's crazy, man. Wicked. I think that's how bands should start from now on. That's just. I think that was the done thing, wasn't it? There was no other way of meeting people like the internet now. You know, bumping into each other on a train just because you got a guitar on your back. Yeah, you're in my band. You'll do.
Yeah. It was. I was like
If you want to
literally
make
what,
organic music,
Yeah.
have organic
10 years ago, was it,
interaction.
Phil?
Oh, it was a bit longer than that.
Was it a bit
A
longer?
bit longer than that now, Tyler.
Mental.
Man, I'm starting to feel my age, mate.
Right,
No,
guys.
it's,
So you started with this project then. So obviously it started from many moons ago, like you say. But this one itself is, how long has it been in the works? Because you've only just started putting stuff out.
We've been doing bits on and off. We didn't have really a name for it or a clear direction. We just started just making some music in general. I wrote a bunch of songs and Tyler had a bunch of ideas, and it was kind of like I had some songs and Tyler was sort of like, oh, we'll get together and we'll do something with them. And this was in 2000. The first load of songs that we wrote together was before 2019, but we didn't bother doing anything for like a year, or maybe it's a bit longer. And then Tyler said, "Oh, how about them songs?" And we decided to get together in 2019 later on, probably winter, and we kind of finalised some ideas. And at the beginning of this year, we decided, right, we'll put a record together, and that's basically how it happened. It was, again, it's kind of like an organic idea. There was no
Yeah.
clear intention. But we just wanted to do something musical. I think that was it. I hadn't done anything musical for a while, and Tyler hadn't really. You've been focusing on production work, haven't you, T? And
Yeah.
we just decided to do something.
That sounds cool. Because I remember messaging you not long after I'd finished sort of building this place to see if you were still performing and still playing, to see if you wanted to come to the studio. And you were like, "Oh, I'm actually it's perfect prime time because I'm working on some stuff." And then it just sort of went radio silence for a little while, and I was like, "Is he going to put out any of his ideas, or what's he doing?" And then, and now obviously, like, but I quite like that idea of it being a little bit of a slow burner, you know, as opposed to just like we're gonna bash out a load of songs just randomly, sort of thing. You've kind of done it, as you say, quite organically. You've spent a bit of time working and crafting on what you wanna do and say, that kind of thing. So So I think fair play
Yeah.
to you guys, because it's hard graft sitting on songs, I think.
It is, and I think the other thing is as well, it's this whole idea of sometimes you have an idea and you just want it to be out there, but I
Yeah.
think we were quite conscious with what we were doing because it's like I say, it's a bit of a slightly new medium for me, and Tyler was branching out with some ideas. We really wanted to try and push ourselves musically and in the forms of production as well. And I wanted to push myself as a lyricist as well. So there was like all these elements, and I just didn't want to do something where I felt that's a good song, let's put it out. I wanted to do something like that's a good song. Am I really proud of it?
Yeah.
Because once it's done, it's done. And I just sort of had that in the back of my mind. Tyler had that as well. There was a few points where we were sort of like, let's ditch this song, let's move on to something else. But we were sort of like the idea of let's not ditch it, let's put it on the back burner. If something happens with it, it happens with it. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then one of the songs Tyler revisited was one of the first songs we ever wrote, which was quite a while ago. And we've decided to put that back on the record because we were really proud of it. And we kind of went in that sort of way with it instead of just saying, these are the songs we like. And it's even with the idea of the song that we've put out now, we didn't just think that's our favourite song. We let some people listen to some records that we've done and we said, what are your favourites? What are your least favourites? Why does this one? Why do you think this one's your favourite? We wanted to do a proper focus group and just make sure the entire package that we've done is something we're proud of, from artwork to song choices to production and everything.
Well, what I was going to say was, I've, from knowing you, Phil, with your background and stuff, you're primarily you came up in. Sort of like the punk rock kind of scene and that sort of stuff. Would you say, Tyler, that your influence is more the electronic and production? Because you were kind of touching on Prodigy and stuff like that before. You were talking about them a little bit during soundcheck. So is that more your sort of your bag? Is that what you've brought to the table?
A bit of both, really, because Prodigy and Chemical Brothers are pretty much my favourite sort of stuff, but I was actually more into the heavy stuff before then. I mean, I used to be in a metal band. I've done metal bands for years, and I don't know, because me and Phil have done other stuff before together. Like we like a jigsaw puzzle. Like the bits that I'm missing, Phil fills in. Excuse the pun. but it's always been the same. We've always got together, and we've always, like, I've done a track, and Phil's like, yeah, it's great, but it's missing this, and he's always brought exactly what the track's needed. And
it's like this thing, innit? It's like we've done music separate to each other for so long in different bands, but it's kind of things like I had a synthesizer at my house when we first met, and you really liked it, and then you got into that side of things for doing things, and then you discover something else, and then one day you'd be like, hey Phil, check this out, and we kind of built up this over the years, like a musical, like Tyler was saying, like a jigsaw puzzle, and we've always helped each other out, and we've always been into similar stuff as well. I mean, like, we both really like retro, terrible 80s music as well, and I think it's that whole idea that we've got a mixed direction with music. Like, I really used to really like metal. Well, I still do listen to some metal bands as well. Tyler does, and even when we were younger, we used to spend time listening to industrial techno and stuff as well, and just taking inspiration and ideas from everything through all of our time. And I think when we've come together with this band, it's naturally formed into the sound that you hear. It's not something where we thought, oh, Tyler, you're really into electronic music, let's go down an electronical path. It was sort of like I'd written music in that sort of just really simplistic way of an acoustic guitar or piano, and then we were adding layers, and it just evolved. I think it's...
You can definitely hear a mixed bag of influence in the first release that you've put out. I'm really excited to hear what else you're going to play tonight, because obviously this is essentially, for me personally, and for, I guess, for the people watching as well, it's a sneak peek of what to expect on this 6-track release that you're doing. Is that right? 6 songs, you said?
Yeah, 6 songs. It's a bit different because this is a lot stripped down to what we normally do. I mean, a lot of it on the record doesn't really sound like this. It's the same vein. This is our version of an acoustic set, really. Okay. But we wanted to keep it up, like, as organic as you can obviously with a digital sound. We didn't want to play whole things to backing tracks, so we've kind of adapted it for this live stream. But yeah, 6-track EP, and we've literally put our heart and soul into every single one of these tracks. Not a single one is evaded our microscope. We nearly cut one of our favourite tracks as well towards the end, didn't we, Phil? Can you remember
Very
that?
close, yeah.
Oh well, I'd love to hear a little more about that. As we go on with the show, but I think maybe we should get a tune from you guys, because I'm just like, one, I don't want to rush you through the 3 songs that you're going to be playing tonight, and 2, I'm just really excited to hear what it is you guys are going to do. So if you guys are happy to play a song, then should we jump right into one, or what are you feeling?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's go for it. Phil, you going to sync me up?
I've just put me Meatloaf reverb on there. Are you all synced up, Tyler? Okay, this song is called The Beast. This is our, basically this is the song that we've just dropped, and this is the adaptation that we've done for you. Have you ever been in a crowded room, but still felt so alone? So many downward lit up faces that seem so damn cold. And when you hear violence late at night, does it still pierce through your soul? We sell affection like an item, it's corrupted all of us. All of us, all of us, all of us, all of us. The truth is still hiding. The that reminds you of the words that divide us. Are we just gonna be the beast that everybody loves? We just gonna be the beast that everybody loves. We just gonna be the beast that everybody loves. Wish it could be always me and you, without it being so hard to touch. I'm sick of seeing all these faces without yours being one of such. It's never been all that easy, and I know it must be hard. And I've seen so many places, I want my home to hold my heart. All of us, all of us, all of us, all of us. The truth is still hiding. The words that divide us. Are we just gonna be the beast that everybody loves? We just gonna be the beast that everybody loves. We just gonna be the beast that everybody loves.
Yo, that was so good, guys.
Thank you very much.
I did panic then when I was trying to
Did it
get
sound
myself
alright?
back on screen. I didn't think it. I think because normally I don't kick myself because normally it's just me and one other person, and I just give them the full screen. So I had to turn my screen off completely, and then I panicked. Then I was like,
Oh, man.
I can't find the button. How do I get back on? Anyway, I'm here. It's fine. That was wicked, man. Tyler absolutely smashed it. I love the production, sounding sick. Vocals, Phil, tonight, mate. Absolutely fire. I love it.
Cheers, man.
Getting a lot of love in the comments, which is great as well.
Thank you.
People saying
Legend.
how nice it is. In fact, my wife said it's nice to see two people playing together again, because this is a first that we've like. This is probably as close as it gets to a real gig nowadays. You know, having two people performing, but I've yet to see another band do it. So you guys are, yeah, you've worked it
You're
out.
saving
Thank
yourself
you.
a
Really, really
world of
appreciate it,
problems.
like,
Absolutely, I
I
know
think I
you
don't-
can do.
don't think it was it was something when I first said to you, oh, we'll do it together. We'll figure out a way. I think I've got an idea. I was like, the day after, I was like, there must be a reason why people there's not
And
many.
not doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I was
Well,
like,
I
oh,
even
no.
said
And
to
then-
you, once I booked this in, I was like, look, let's be honest. I've done a few of these now, and I've got a feeling that it's not even that possible. You know, everyone that is doing it are doing like pre-records, all that kind of thing, which is fine. That's, you know, it's still technically
Yeah.
live, but it's just pre-recorded, that kind of thing. And then you were like, no, it'll be fine. And I was like, okay, let's put it this way. Say, for instance, you aren't able to do it. Tyler can still join us on the show, and you'll just do it acoustically. And then lo and behold, you've brought it. You've somehow miraculously brought two elements together from different parts of the world, streaming for us now live, which is wicked. So well done, guys.
Yeah.
I have to
Man,
hats
it
off
was an
to Tyler
absolute
for
nightmare.
figuring out this
was gonna
Soundflower
say-
thing, though. Like, guys,
Was
'cause if
it
you need
was
to
it
do
one of those moments where Phil, you were like, yeah, it'll be fine. We'll work it out, and then you're like, Tyler, I have no idea what we're doing. Fix it, please.
That's
100%.
literally what happened. That is exactly what he did. He rang me up like, dude, we can't do this. Oh no, mate, we can't do it. And I was like, well, calm your passion. Just sit down, give me a minute. I'll figure it out. And I came up with this idea, and when we was practicing it, I was like, oh, but obviously I can't monitor Phil, so I'm in my own little bubble.
Oh man,
And
the
like,
support bubble. Boris was talking about them the other day.
oh man,
Anyways, wicked. I'm buzzing that worked, because now we've got the first one done. You'd like to think that the rest of the stream's plain sailing now. You know, you can relax a little and enjoy
Yeah.
the.
I'm
So
still
that's the
doing
first
it.
release, isn't it?
Doing-
That was the first song you've released, correct?
Yeah, that's our adaptation of the first song. That's it's on YouTube, and if you drop in on our website, mechanicalcoast.co.uk, it's on there as well. It's on SoundCloud. You can stream it for free on there, and obviously that will be going on our EP as well with the full 6 tracks, and we get all that on Spotify and iTunes,
I was going to say, is that
etc.
going up on Spotify? And when
Yeah,
when
yeah.
when are you expecting it to land on Spotify?
We're doing our record release is the 20th. It should be all right. We spoke to our distributors. Well, I messaged them today. Everything should be clean sailing, because there has been a hold up on a few due to the COVID situation. But
Yeah.
we planned ours well in advance when we uploaded all of our material and stuff. So everything should be good to drop on the 20th. I'm also doing a spot on BBC with an interview on the drop date as well.
Homicide.
Yeah, so I think there'll be some tracks played on there as well, but
Yes.
it'll all be on Spotify, so it's all good for everybody to drop in and just stream away. Be really happy to see what people say as well. If you can drop in on our Facebook, we're really nice guys. We like the feedback and interaction with people as well.
Great.
Yeah, feel free to drop us instructional videos on how to put engines together as well, as we've had today.
Yeah, really bizarre. I think some people think we're a mechanics group or something. We've had like some people like us and start commenting like how to like make a 2-stroke engine into a 4-stroke or something. I'm like,
Well, you
we're
never
not a
know when you
mechanics group.
you never know when you start touring when how if you break down, that might come in handy.
I know it must be something. I don't I don't know what that was about.
There was a question in the comments actually of where the band name came from. Is there a story behind it, or is it just a series of cool words?
No, when we was first doing our early sort of production stuff, I was really into that. At the time, there was a lot of vocal production, which was like squeaky and reverberated. And because I used to chop Phil's voice up a lot, and it used to just sound funny. So Phil was like, let's just call it Mechanical Ghosts. It sounds really weird, ghostly sort of thing. It's not really I guess you have to be there to find it funny.
No,
it's because,
I like how the fact that obviously it's basically poking fun at Phil, but it's turned out to be quite a cool band name at the same time. I love that. It's like,
I think it's quite relevant for the music we do because it's quite mechanical sounding, but the whole idea is for it to be quite soulful and passionate as well at the same time. So it kind of fit that. Somebody I know who's helping us write the bio and stuff sort of like implemented that in without us even really talking about it. Sort of like just from listening to the music, which I thought was really cool. So obviously that's been really the right choice.
Wicked. And how have you actually recorded this EP then, the 6 songs? How much was done before lockdown? And how much have you had to do remotely? Like, what's the story behind it?
Well, he came over to Italy and we did some stuff when he came over to Italy. Some of it were already done some of it were taken from demos we'd done in the past and stuff and like rehashed. But to be honest, I think a lot of the later stuff was done remotely through, like doing video chats like this, watching him do the vocal takes, literally trying to produce from across the sea. It was it's been quite fun working this way because it's been like when you're in a studio and you're looking through the glass window, it's been like that, but through on my phone or through the laptop. Just watching Phil do his takes and.
I think that this is a new medium of working across the board. Like you think you can literally do co-writes with anyone at any location anywhere in the world now, whereas I think like we used to maybe use this or see distance as a limitation. Like we would be like, oh, I can't possibly write with people in the States. Financially, it would cripple me to travel over there and have a week, and nothing's set in stone for us to actually be able to achieve what we want. Whereas now you can just log in. I mean, we've always had this medium, but I think people have just worked out how to utilize it to its absolute peak.
I think
I completely agree.
It's not only a release of limitations, but I think it's the whole entire concept of the idea of you being not alone in writing process. Like you say, there's no borders. It's and I think during this situation that we're in now as well, this was another thing as well, because when I first went over there, the whole idea was, we need to sit down and make these decisions together. But it's sort of like it wasn't even an issue. Like just bring up on one computer, I had Tyler's face there, and he's bringing the feed into me. We're listening to tracks live. Obviously, there's a latency between us, but we can kind of hear what's going on, and we can make these decisions together. But at the same time as well, but without any limitation from the fact that he was in Italy when we were doing these finals on these mixes and I was here. I think it's an incredible concept, and I think like a lot of artists are going to jump on this. And I think some obviously, I think maybe have done it before, but I think it's going to be more of a prominent thing.
I quite agree with you. I really think so. And I think you still, I don't know about like, well, you kind of say you've still got that element of, you don't feel disconnected, do you? Like you feel like you're almost still in the same room. It's only the equivalent, as like Tyler said, of the glass divide between the studio room. It's only, you've only got your screen as the divide sort of thing. As long as the finished product isn't hindered by this, then I don't see why it shouldn't continue to be a one way of doing it. Because obviously, once lockdown does, I don't know, go away or whatever it is, stop, then you'd like to think that you would have some social interaction where you'd be able to have writing sessions face to face. But with you guys living so far apart at the moment, this is ideal.
It's perfect. I mean, we do manage to get some sessions in together. Obviously, we plan it and sort it like that. And the same when the music becomes a live aspect as well. It's going to be pre-planned. We're going to be able to rehearse. We're going to sort that out. But it's like during this writing session, if I have an idea or something, I just basically I can send my session file over to Tyler. He can open it up and we can listen to what I've been doing, and he'll tweak something or change something, send it back to me, and I can listen to what he's done. Or he can be live doing it and he'd stream it to me and say, oh, what about if we try this out? Or why don't you try this over the top of it? Or I've got this idea to go on it. And you've still got that human interaction happening as if you would be in a studio. I think it's just we live. The future is here, and we are living in it, guys.
Absolutely. Whether we like it or not, that's the thing. There's no choice in the matter right now. Sorry, Tyler, what were you going to say?
Sorry, it's the delay.
No, it's all good.
But I think my favourite thing about working with Phil this way was, I can't remember which track it was. I think it might have been Oceans, but he sent me the original version of that, and I completely changed it and sent it because we kept bouncing the session file back. I think it was a fair few times, and it went for being one thing. And we ended up using the verse as the chorus hook. It was crazy, and that's because we wouldn't have been able to do that unless we was doing these streams together, because it was basically like it was vibing off of what each of us was sending. I mean, he was adding guitars, piano, drums. I was changing him, adding more guitars and drums. Everything was just constant adding, taking away, adding. And so we'd listen through together at the end and be like, this is exactly what we wanted. And we couldn't definitely, if we wasn't doing it together at the same time, we both wouldn't have had that vibe.
Yeah, I agree, because you've kind of almost got that space really as well. Like, if you're not necessarily, I mean, I like the fact that Phil said there's the odd occasion where you would be able to sort of tap into the stream yourself and you'd hear, and there'd be slight latency and stuff. But I can imagine the majority of the time you would just send the stem over, and Tyler, you'd work on it for a bit and then send it back, and then Phil would work on it for a bit, and then you've kind of got that disconnect, which is enough for be able to leave it almost like a bit of breathing space for your ideas to really come out, and vice versa. Whoever's got the track at the time, which makes for a really interesting writing session when you actually think about it, because your vision, Phil, might be completely different to Tyler's and vice versa. And as you say, like you were sending back stems that were totally different to what Phil had sent you. It just makes for an interesting song about.
I think the most amazing thing is I think the only thing to say to somebody to work this way is, I would say, you kind of have to leave your ego at the door, because you have to fully trust the person you're working with.
100%.
With something that you've started and maybe spent a lot of time on and a lot of effort and energy and your personalities in it. And I think if you leave your ego at the door and you just want the finished product to be something that is truly a connection between the people that you're working with, I think it's a really good way to get that.
Is that something that you've learned during this project, or is that something that you've brought into the project from previous writing sessions or whatever it may have been?
I think we've both figured this out. Sorry, I was just literally going to...
No, you start, dude.
Tyler, take it away, mate.
I think, in my opinion, it's something I've learned on this, because I've done a lot of things, put my heart and soul into it, sent to Phil, and Phil was just like, this is not my vision, which... at first it was soul crushing. You think, oh, you got something which is amazing, and he doesn't like it, but then he'll send me something back which which it's not completely opposite of the vision, but he's just steered it in a different direction. And sometimes, like Phil said, you do just have to trust him, and just think, right, okay, let's just go with this. And you end up instead of steering each other in right angles, it starts getting to the point where you're only nudging, and then you are on the same path after a couple of changes. So it does work.
That's really an interesting concept, because obviously I don't think it's instant, is it? It's something that takes a little bit of time and progression, and eventually you'll get to a workflow, like you say, rather than it being like extreme left and right turns. It's just this sort of like tweaking slightly and adapting just to suit the overall theme of the band or whatever it may be.
100%. That's exactly how it is. It was like I said, when we started doing it, we thought, well, this might take some time, but I think it's like that whole idea of, it's like when you've been in a band with somebody for quite a long time and you are playing live together, it's sort of like, do you know that thing that if there's any musicians out there, when your guitarist and your bass player are playing together with a drummer, you can kind of anticipate them changes that the drummer's going to put in or the type of fill he's going to do because you've worked with him for such a long time.
Got you.
It's kind of like that, but on a production sense, if you get me. If you can kind of imagine it that way, you kind of get to that point with working with one another. You kind of can understand what somebody might bring to the table, or I'm doing this, but you know, I know Tyler does that thing, or he'll have a really good idea for this bit. He's always really good at writing middle eights or something like that. You kind of you can kind of anticipate almost when you send something off. Sometimes something really surprising comes back, but I can kind of get a feel what Tyler's going to put on something, and I'm pretty sure he can get a feel for what I'm probably going to put on something because we've done this. And it's that whole idea of like working together, but as a production side of it rather than being in the physical rehearsal room.
Yeah. Working together apart. I love it. Like you guys are killing it. Right, so let's do another song because I'm concerned with. I could literally talk to you about this sort of stuff all day long because I love production. I love understanding how the mechanics of the Ghost works. So nice. But yeah, let's get you another tune from you guys, and then we'll have a few questions from the comments because I know I've seen a few come in. So if anyone else has got any questions, please get them in, and then we'll just pick up once you finish your tune. All right.
Right.
Smashing. Just got me Meatloaf reverb on again.
Sink me in, Phil.
Yeah, we're gonna do the Monster. Are you synced up? Is it showing up, T? Smashing. You've woken up so badly. You're a victim of yourself, it's sad but true. I'm done with all this dreaming. Yes, I'm guilty, but so are all of you. We're growing stronger, even though we're broken and we're bruised. We are haunted by the past and all horrors that make us weak. So we pray together, then the sun says its goodbyes. You've fallen under the spell of a sleepless night, and the weight of your chest breaks your lungs, so your breathing's tight. And if you let me, I'll be the monster that you need. Keep holding on. Don't let your fears consume you. Part of bitter lives to fall apart. Keep moving on. Be anything you want to, but faking love won't fill your heart. Falling under. Let me eat all the fear I can. So I'm packing up my demons and saying bye to all this anger, to fall a victim of just staying and growing roots. Come take my hand and let me eat all the fear I can. I don't wanna be the person they were to you. And if you let me, I'll be the monster that you need. keep holding on. Don't let your fears consume you. Part of bitter lives to fall apart. Keep moving on. Be anything you want to, but faking love won't fill your heart.
Great work, guys. Sounding so good. I absolutely love the vibe at the end of that tune with the 80s. Sounded sick. The production's wicked.
Cheers, man.
Your voice is as strong as ever, man. In fact, it's probably stronger than what I remember, really. And you're really delivering these songs absolutely amazingly. So, yeah, I'm buzzing
Cheers,
for you
dude.
guys. Yeah, once again, getting so much love in the comments. So if you can't see the comments, by the way, I have been putting a few of them up on screen, and there's like a chat thing that you can sort of look in at. But worst case, you'll be able to watch it back later and see what people are saying, because you've definitely gained some fans from this.
Oh, it's fashion. That's great.
Legend.
Thanks, guys. Really appreciate it. Everybody sending the love. It's awesome.
So we have had a few questions. There was one about how does this sync work? I mean, we were trying to discuss it. The three of us were talking about it, and it's a bit of a minefield, isn't it? Really, when from what you were telling me, like it's pretty difficult stuff. So
It's
I don't know
really
how in
fickle.
depth you can go into it without taking up too much time of the stream. I don't know if maybe you guys should put a video together, because this would, like, you know, showing people how to do it. 'Cause it would,
Can drop
like
some
gold.
instructions down, definitely.
yeah, man.
Yeah, it's quite fickle. I mean, we was panicking because we left it for a couple of days, and when we tried it again this morning, it didn't work, and we was panicking for about an hour. I said to Phil, I was like, I don't know why it's not working, but it's quite simple. It's basically we have a separate thing going off the stream thing. We have like a separate thing going on, and I send what I'm doing over to Phil, and he basically plays along to me. But the shame is I can't actually monitor Phil what he's doing, so I'm literally alone in my own bubble playing the tunes on my own, and Phil's basically, I'm like a human, I don't know, jukebox or drum machine, whatever you want to call it.
I think that's the
And
issue
Phil's
is there are limitations, aren't there? You know, obviously you guys are kind of
100%.
you're bordering on the line of, without boring people that don't understand the logistics of, like, whether you play a track or not and that sort of stuff, metronome. There are elements that you need to think about that, you know, I think I kind of asked you earlier on, would you be able to have two acoustic musicians performing together? I think the limitations would probably lie there, you know, because they wouldn't be able to monitor themselves. And
Yeah,
No,
it's
you'd
kind of like
have to.
the way I'd explain it with a drummer is if a drummer had a separate feed going into his ear with a click track, and he sent the recording of what he was doing out, he'd need to know the song all the way through without anybody else. Then he could send that to somebody else, they could play over the top of it, and that part where the person's played over the top of it can go out. That's the way that we're kind of doing it. I mean, could perhaps work if you were playing, that track could go to somebody else. We don't know if the audio quality would degrade, because we've only tried it between us two, but potentially you could maybe do it at another time as well, and then send it to somebody else, and they could go out. Maybe the singer could sing over the top of the guitar what the guitarist has put on.
Obviously, we could talk about this all day long. I think what would be really cool is if you actually put something out about this, because I think the people are struggling, and you'd definitely be loved forever for explaining how to do this. But also at the same time, like just quickly going back to that drummer thing, like that drummer isn't like, just to show how complicated it is for Tyler right now. He's not hearing what Phil's performing. Is that correct?
Not at all, no.
Yeah,
So-
not
so-
anything.
The switch is
Exactly.
the
So you
the
pl-
speaker
you
coming back
play the
off
song,
because
you
it
know
got
your
time.
parts like the back of your hand, that kind of thing. So the limitation is if you were a drummer and decided or missed a beat or missed a bar, the person singing would have to work out that you're in a different place in the song, but you won't be able to
100%.
like. Oh God, it's just a minefield.
In
Anyway,
guitar terms, it's like playing with a delay and hitting a wrong note. Do you know that
Yes.
wrong note?
Yeah, the forever delay trail of the wrong
exactly
note.
the same thing.
yeah. So,
So it's
what
all
I
on
do love
Tyler.
about it, guys, is you're not hoarding the information to yourself. There was a few people asking in the comments saying, "How are you doing it? How are you doing it?" And I love the fact that you're open to explain and talk about the way you've actually managed to pull
And
this off.
Just one thing to say to them: it's their funeral if they want to try it, because it's such a nightmare.
Yeah, you hold no responsibility if it doesn't go
Yeah.
right. Is that what you're
well,
saying?
the
Is
thing
that
is,
your
we might have done
disclaimer?
it this way, and somebody might be
Yeah.
able to improve on it. And if
Yeah,
that
yeah.
happens, then we're benefiting. So
Yeah, well,
Yeah, yeah.
it's all
you know,
good, man.
I don't want to be held accountable for lost friendships. Me and Phil nearly fell out like 5 times.
Yeah, band breaks up before it
Yeah.
even properly starts just because of a live stream.
I think one of the messages were, when I do this, we are never doing it again.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
Hey,
jeez.
it's-
And
I'm
that
sorry
somehow I
about
believe
that.
I don't believe that's true, because you were talking about how
No.
you're getting together with another member as well. You got a drummer coming together and you're doing like an online stream, aren't you?
We've got a drummer in the pipeline, and he might be listening today, or his partner might be listening today. But we've got Chris Perfect. He's coming on board. He's a lad that's lives in near Goole, actually, which is where we used to live. And he's going to be putting the low tones on there for us for live playing. And
Sweet.
hopefully, fingers crossed, we might be able to announce the name of the drummer in a couple of weeks as well.
Wicked. Well, I'm assuming you're going to be working out of how you're going to stream together, or you might hit a few crossroads and limitations, but at the very least you'll be doing it like this, correct?
At the very least, we'll be doing them like
Yeah,
this.
100%.
But hopefully, when the COVID thing's lifted, we will be performing together, all together. We are planning on doing that.
Mhm.
It's always been on the cards. We've obviously fortunate for such as yourself when you do play in other countries and stuff, and you play lots of different venues and around your own country and stuff. You still keep them connections with people you make friends with and stuff. Because music, the fortunate thing, the thing that I love most about doing music in general, is the fact that you make these connections and friendships with people and they last forever. And I'm pretty sure it'd be nice to meet people that I've met along the way and book some shows in my new band. And Tyler is making friends over there as well and be able to book shows over there as well. And we've got some
Wicked.
friends still from when my old bands and stuff played in Germany and in Belgium and stuff. We've still got them friends. So hopefully we can, get this on a full working machine.
Wicked. I'm buzzing for you. Let's the sky's the limit with when it comes to when this COVID thing's lifted. You guys are very proactive and you're well versed when it comes to performing and live and that sort of stuff. Especially Phil, knowing your background, the idea of you not performing this live, it seems quite a what's the word? I don't know. A sin, I guess. Like it needs to be done. You need to get on it, man. So once, I suppose you'll be on it as soon as you can, really.
As soon as we can, as soon as people start opening the doors back up to booking shows and stuff like that, because I know like a lot of places have taken a major hit in this. But if we can somehow make it possible to be at the forefront and getting, them potential shows lined up to obviously support the venues and get this music out to people on a stage, it would be great. So absolutely.
I'm going to just make a quick announcement. We are definitely going to run over tonight on this show, so please stick around. And we're going to probably run over at least 15 minutes. So hopefully that shouldn't affect people's plans. But I don't want to rush through these questions, and I also don't want to rush through your final song. So I just wanted to give people a heads up. Usually we sort of round the show off at about an hour, and we've got about 4 minutes left. So
Very sorry, guys.
well,
sorry,
no, it's
sorry
all,
everyone.
it's the thing is it happens most nights. It's just I really want to make sure people hear your music and stick around for your final song and stuff. So let's just have a few questions, and I'm not saying rush them, but we'll try condense them down slightly. Tyler, do you speak any Italian?
Yep.
You do?
Yeah.
Fluent?
Not fluent, but I work in Italy, so I have to be able to speak and understand. So
Sweet.
Give him a verse,
and
T.
I'm not giving you a verse because I've got a Yorkshire accent and it's funny. And if there's any
oh
Italians
man,
watching,
you
they'll
can't
laugh at me.
you can't not do it now.
You gotta do it, man.
You just
I'm
drop
not
it in there
doing
later on. Just
I'll
drop it in
there
later on when we
later
least
yeah.
expect it.
See you, Chad.
What is the difference musically from the UK and Italy, Tyler?
Surprisingly, where I am, there's not much of a scene, which is a good thing. I thought Florence would be absolutely massive, and it is, but they're all into like rap from like 5 years ago, so it's not really that. I don't know. England seems to have a bit more of a anything goes attitude. Within Italy, if you're not doing like trap or drill music, it's just not really, nobody really bothers. But I suppose if you're into that music, there's a huge following. There's clubs open everywhere for trap and drill music, and it is good, but personally it's not really my thing. I like the old school hip hop. Nobody seems to care about that.
Right, yeah.
You can tell he's quite upset that no one's banging out the Sugar
I
Hill
am.
gang,
I'm like NWA, you know, Public Enemy, and they're like, what's that? And I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but it means that you can introduce, and create a scene that people would be like, oh, this is new and interesting, exciting, and then be the pioneer of that scene in the community where you are, sort of thing.
Definitely. It's interesting being an English person, like one of the only English people in the centre of Florence. No, actually, not tell a lie. There's a southern lad that works in the Irish pub, but apart from that, that's pretty much it. It's just me. So when people come up to me asking musical questions, most of the time they're like, "What?" They don't, because it's a different culture over here. A lot of them they borrow it a lot from American culture, so it's a bit different, but it's cool.
Fair enough. Yeah, man. So is Phil, if you want to take this one, maybe is Mechanical Ghosts mainly keyboard based, or does guitar feature in any tracks?
We've got guitars in every single track. They are there. Sometimes they're quite low down. Sometimes they play prominent lines throughout the entire song. Sometimes they sound big. Sometimes they're quite clean. I think the other thing is as well is like yourself, Matt. You've come from like a punk rock background, and you've taken it in a different direction.
Yeah.
You kind of have to experiment with your tones a lot to make things fit with different timbres of electronic instruments and things like that, which has been incredibly interesting for me. And to be honest, Tyler was in a band at one point that did have quite a lot of electronics and guitars in it, so he opened my eyes to a lot of things that are possible to do as well. But yeah, every single track's got a guitar in it, and they all have very different tones.
All with live kits as well. All the drums are
Yeah,
recorded
live
live
drum
with
kits and
samples.
everything as well.
Oh, nice. Is this the mystery drummer as well, or is this someone else that's sessioned?
That was me.
Oh, you play the drums as well, mate.
Tyler.
Yeah.
Sick. Dark Horse. Like, what else do you play, man? I mean, to be fair, you do live in a music shop.
pretty much. I mean, yeah.
Literally, what did I say? The first comment is going to be how many guitars. That was literally one of the first questions in the comment. I'm just trying to find it.
There's 48 if you're wondering.
Yeah, specifically how many?
Yeah.
Specifically.
Yeah. 48 with 4, 6, 7 with 10 amps, all vintage.
Sick. So, how long you lived in PMT for then? That's a music store in Leeds, by the way. That was
Oh,
a terrible
yeah.
joke if you didn't know.
Yeah.
Damn it!
No, I'm sorry. I
I
haven't been to
went
Leeds
down
in a
like a
while.
lead balloon, didn't it?
Yeah, I didn't even realise he was talking to me. I thought he was talking to Phil.
Phil was just like,
I was
oh,
waiting
this
for your
is going
response, but you
bad.
looked away.
I don't know. I've been here about 2 years now.
Oh, wicked. Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
So live drums, lots of guitars, lots of keyboard, lots of various production tricks, various vocals. I'm assuming you do like layered harmonies and all that kind of sort of stuff.
Yeah, we've got a good old vocoder on go quite a lot as well. Got a-
Yeah.
So there's a lot for people to get their ears around, really, which is quite exciting, really. So I'm really looking forward to hearing the full body of work when it comes to hearing it like this. It sounds solid, but it's exciting to see what it's going to sound like on this 6-track EP that when you release it.
Great. I can't wait for people to hear it, to be honest. I'm really excited to get this out.
Same.
Right, guys, I want you guys to play another tune, if that's all right, and then we'll get any final questions in. If you're ready to do another one, then I think we'll just jump into it.
Smash it.
Right.
Just gonna get the old reverb back on.
Right, I'm gonna mute you now, Phil. So.
Right. Are you synced up, man?
I creep at night whilst you calmly sleep. On the back of my neck I can feel you softly breathe. I find myself in the mirror instead of the sheets, but always wanting to give you my heart to keep. As I return to the wild, I feel a call to the wild. If I keep my foot on the gas and try to escape, I know I just turn back for you. I feel a call to the wild. I feel a call to the wild. Just turn back for you. I 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 feel the call to the wild. I feel the call to the wild. Just turn back for you. Securities are prisons and debts are paid in blood. Tired of selling my soul just for a chance to live. I'm haunted by being told what I can and cannot do, and the anxiety of what is always expected of me. So, if the world was to stop turning, it would be the perfect chance for us. I feel a call to the wild. I feel a call to the wild.
God, do you feel our hearts beating? Yes, I feel it every single time. I feel a call to the world. I feel a call to the world. Just turn back for you. I 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 feel a call to the world. I feel a call to the world. One more chord.
Sick.
Did you do?
Absolutely
Did you,
love it.
did you get the last chord in, Phil? I couldn't hear. I knew you was.
Yeah, you did
all the
it,
time.
but it was
Did you
just
do
a little bit out. Sorry.
I knew you was gonna get it wrong.
Wicked. Sounding great, guys. Honestly, I'm buzzing. First of all, I mean, obviously, I've said it, but Phil, it's really, I'm like really happy that you play music again, man. It's so cool to hear this new project. And Tyler, mate, it's been really nice to meet you, and you've really
you
brought
too, mate.
something else to Phil's sound and you know, to his vocals. As I say, you've always had a really strong vocal, but like the elements of production and stuff that you bring in, Tyler, mate, it seems to be really like a good wall of sound, even in this medium, you know, like this stripped back. I can't wait to hear what it sounds like full.
Cheers, man. Really
Full
appreciate
power.
it.
I appreciate
Thanks very
that.
much. Thanks very much for having us as well, and
No worries,
thanks
man.
very much for all the love as well that people have brought in the comments. Really appreciate that as well. It's massive spur to, you know, get motivated. It's great. Thanks.
Well, I think that's it. I think, fortunately, I think we could have done this over again. That's the thing. It's one of those. You guys, I could talk to you all night long. So I think we should definitely do it again another time. We missed out a few questions, but it's not the end of the world. What I would say is if you've enjoyed tonight, then reach out to the guys. You can tell they're absolutely sound and they're willing to sort of chat to you and whatever else. So if you want to ask the questions to their Instagram or their Facebook, I'm sure they'll happily reply and whatever else. And definitely check out the socials just to make sure you're in tune with the music when it comes out. What date did you say it was coming out again? Was it
The 20th. So it's next Saturday. The record should be dropping.
I can't wait. So I'll also be adding you guys to the Assembly Point guests playlist as well. So if anyone's got that already, that the whole week that I've had will be added tomorrow, including yourselves. But you'll be as of the 20th, because obviously your music's not on Spotify as of yet, but it will be on there.
Amazing. Thank you very much.
Brilliant,
Any final words? Do you want to sign off with anything, or are you happy?
Just from people in the UK as well. Keep safe, everybody. I know we're going
Wear
through
a
a really
mask.
difficult time in the country, but just love one another. Don't be, keep the hate to a minimum. I know people are angry about things and things like that, but love's a much more stronger emotion. And end of the day, that's the thing that's going to keep everybody together.
I couldn't agree with you more, mate. Tyler, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure to meet you. Phil, a pleasure as always. Thank you guys for really bringing it tonight. You've smashed it.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Thanks
Cheers.
very much.
Thanks.
Take care of yourselves, guys. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Absolutely love tonight's show. I've really enjoyed the week, actually. It's been a really eventful week. Once again, if you do get a bit of time to go check out the lads, their Instagram and their Facebook are on screen right now. The new album, or rather new EP, comes out on the 20th, as Phil said. So be sure to spin that on Spotify and add it to your playlists and, follow the guys and all that sort of stuff. If you are new here, consider subscribing to the channel. I'm trying to hit 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Thank you for the handful of people that did subscribe at the beginning of the show. I appreciate that. If you've already subscribed to the channel, thank you again for continuing to support me, the studio, this platform. It's shaping up to be a really nice little community. I'm really enjoying doing these every day. I do them every single day at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow is the Sunday meetup, where it's basically just me and everyone in the comments. So we do that every single Sunday. Come and join in. Request a song. I'll play some covers and originals and stuff. It makes for a good night. Anyways, once again, shout out to the boys for tonight. Smashed it. And thank you for the continued support. Good night. I brought them on screen. Oh, man. Good night.